Welcome to Yoga Upload. I'm Maris Aylward. Today's video is a 70-minute Yin Yoga full body deep stretch practice. Poses will be held for 3 to 5 minutes. There is a 6-minute Savasana at the end, and we'll be doing small movements and stretches in between the poses. Optional props, if you'd like to use them, are a bolster. It will provide support and extra height, or a blanket, which provides cushioning for your joints if they're feeling a little tender today. Please read the description box below for more information about this class. As always, do what you can, rest when you need to, and enjoy your practice. Let's start. We'll begin seated in butterfly pose. Press the soles of your feet together and let your knees relax to the sides. Sit with the spine nice and tall. Relax your shoulders down away from the ears. Close your eyes and we'll take some cleansing breaths. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale through the mouth, big sigh. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Exhale. Seal the lips now. Breathe in any way that's comfortable for you. Relax your arms by your sides with the palms facing up. Take a few moments here to get centered, clear your mind, and dedicate the next hour or so for your practice. In the next few seconds, blink your eyes open and we'll do some neck stretches. Drop your right ear down towards your right shoulder. You can use your hand to gently guide the stretch. At the same time, press your left shoulder down and feel that lengthening in the left side of your neck. Carefully release, come back to center, and switch to the other side. Notice any differences between your right and left sides, and keep your breath going. Carefully release back to the center. Bring your heels closer to your inner thighs. Keep the spine nice and tall as you fold forward from your hips. Relax the face, the neck, and the shoulders. Fold forward as far as you can go, or as far as feels comfortable for you right now. Feel the inner thigh stretch. If you're using a bolster here, place your bolster in front of you. You might lean forward a little bit more, rest your belly, your chest, or even your head on the bolster. Relax your arms by your sides. Take a few moments here to settle into your pose. Cultivate stillness. Observe any thoughts, sensations, or emotions that come and go without judgment or attachment. Most importantly, keep the breath going, and we'll stay for a few more minutes here. Take another 2 or 3 deep breaths here. In the next few seconds, we'll carefully ease out of our pose. Slowly walk your hands back, lifting the head, the chest. Once seated upright, take a moment here. Take a breath. If you're using a bolster, move it out of the way. Prepare for windshield wipers. Bring the feet to the floor, feet wider than your hips, and begin to move your legs side to side. Feel a nice release in the hips, the thighs. Do a few more rounds on your own. Pause your movement, prepare for half butterfly. Extend your right leg out and bring your left foot in. Press the sole of your left foot to your right inner thigh. Lengthen the spine and turn to face your right leg. Fold forward any amount. Notice where the sensations come up. Might be the back of that right thigh or right leg, a little bit on the lower back, or the left side body. Fold forward any amount that you wish. If you're using your bolster, place it on top of your right leg. Rest your chest, possibly your head on the bolster. Patiently approach your edge without forcing, without pain. Make sure there's no unnecessary tension anywhere in the face or the neck. We'll stay here a few more minutes. Keep your breath going. Take a few more deep breaths here on this side. Get ready to carefully and mindfully come out of your pose. Slowly lifting the head, the chest. Walk your hands back. Once you're seated upright, we'll do a mild seated back bend here. Place your hands behind you, fingertips on the floor. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. Nice opening across the front of the body. Take another full breath here. and carefully release. Prepare for another set here of your windshield wipers. Bring the feet wider than the hips. Move the legs side to side. Notice how one side feels versus the other. Pause your movement. Prepare for the other side. Half butterfly. Extend your left leg out. Bring your right foot in. Lengthen the spine. Turn towards the left leg and fold forward any amount. Keep the right hip and the right thigh pressing down to the ground. Noticing the sensations that come up. If you're using your bolster, place your bolster on top of your left leg, moving the head and the chest a little bit lower. Maybe resting your forehead on your bolster or your leg if you're not using any props today. Relax your arms on either side of the leg. Soften where you can. Stay present and breathe. Last few breaths in your pose. And as you're ready, take your time, begin to lift up, walk your hands back, move your bolster out of the way, seated back bend, hands behind you, lengthen the spine, lift the heart. If it feels okay for your neck, look up, deep breaths here. And carefully release. We'll do our third set of windshield wipers. Bring the feet to the ground, move the legs side to side. Observe any changes in your body so far. Pause your movement. Get ready for some cat and cow. Come to hands and knees. If the knees are feeling tender, pad them with a blanket. Inhale to lift your tailbone, drop your belly and look forward. Exhale, curl your tailbone under, round your back and push the floor away. Do a few more times at your own pace. Feeling the movement start from the hips, travel to the spine, the neck, and the head. We have another minute or so here. You can keep going with cat-cow or add other movements that feel good to you. You might sway your hips side to side or move your upper body in circles. Move the head. You have some time here for your own exploration. Make your way back to the center and prepare for Anahatasana. Keep your hips stacked directly over your knees. Walk your hands forward as far as you can go. Pause when you reach your edge and let your chest melt towards the ground. Rest your forehead down on your mat. Stay in this variation, or if you're using a bolster, you can intensify this a little bit more by placing your bolster under your elbows. Take your time to find the right spot, the right intensity for you. You can choose to stay in this variation, or you might bring your palms together, lift your hands, and bring your thumbs towards your upper back. This pose can be quite intense on the upper body, so if you feel you need to back off a little bit, that's okay. Make a few adjustments if you need to. Find the pose that's right for you in this moment. Keep the breath going, and we'll be in this pose for a few more minutes. Last few moments here in your Anahatasana. Very carefully ease out of your pose. Release the hands down. Begin to come up. Resting your hands on your mat. Take a breath. Prepare for child's pose. Bring your knees wide, feet close together. If you're using a bolster, place it between the inner thighs and start to rest your upper body on the bolster. Begin with the right cheek on the bolster. Close your eyes, settle into the pose, and breathe. We're about halfway through your pose. We'll switch sides. Slowly lift your head and rest your left cheek on the bolster this time. Keep the arms relaxed. Soften your gaze or keep the eyes closed and breathe. Take your last 2 or 3 deep breaths in child's pose. And carefully come out of your pose. Lift the head, walk your hands back. Once you're all the way up, take a few moments to breathe and observe how you feel. Move your bolster out of the way. Bring your legs in front of you. For another round of windshield wipers, bring your feet wide. Move the legs side to side. Pause your movement and prepare for sitting swan. Keep the left leg slightly bent as you cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Make sure there's no pain in the right knee. Hands behind you for support. Slide your left heel in towards your hips as much as you can. Keep the hips rooted to the mat. If you need a little more intensity in that hip stretch, bring your left heel in towards the hips even more. Keep that length in your spine. Lift the chest. Deep breaths here. And if it feels good, you might even lift your gaze up. Let your head relax back. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Make any adjustments that you need to do. To intensify the stretch, bring the left heel in towards your hips. To decrease the intensity, move your left heel away from your hips. Settle into your pose and breathe. Take your last 2 or 3 deep breaths here. Ease out of the stretch by sliding the left heel forward. Uncross that right foot. Notice how the lower body feels and also how the wrists might be feeling here. Maybe shake the hands out. Do a short counter stretch for the wrist. Lift your right arm up. Press on the back of your hand with the palm facing you. And switch to your other side after a few seconds. And release. Do another set of windshield wipers. Pause your movement and prepare for the second side sitting swan. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh this time. Slide your right heel in towards your hips, finding that right intensity of the stretch. Hands behind you for support. Notice the left hip, left outer thigh. If you need a little bit more intensity, bring the right heel in towards your hips more. Lift the chest. If it feels okay on your neck, relax the head back. Deep breaths here. Notice if this side feels slightly different from your first side. We'll be here a few more minutes. Last few breaths. And carefully release from your stretch by sliding your right heel forward. Uncross that left foot. Counter stretch again for your wrists. Shake out hands. Lift one arm up. Press the back of the hand with the palm facing you. Breathe. And switch to your other side. Feel the stretch in the forearms as well. And release. Windshield wipers. Do a few times each side. The next time your knees are facing the left, pause there and set up for deer pose. Keep the hips rooted to the mat. Feel the knees, the inner thighs, and the hips. Lengthen the spine, take a breath, and prepare for a twist. Lengthen the spine, and on your exhale, twist to the left. Left hand on the floor for support. Gaze softly over your left shoulder or close your eyes. Stay in this variation, or if you'd like to go into a deeper twist, you can use your bolster here. Place your bolster behind you. The edge of that bolster may be touching your left hip. Inhale, re-lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold over your bolster for a supported twist. Rest your left cheek on the bolster. Relax your arms on either side of the bolster. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Find some stillness, relax, and breathe. Last 2 or 3 deep breaths in your supported twist. Slowly come out of your pose. Use the support of your arms to come up. Unwind from your twist, take a breath, and we'll prepare for the other side. Lift the legs. Let your knees fall to the right. Keep your hips rooted down. Keep your knees on the ground. Lengthen the spine. And anytime you're ready, you can add your twist. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist right. Look over your right shoulder. Make sure the neck feels comfortable. Unclench your jaw, soften your gaze. If you're adding on that supported twist, set up your bolster. The short edge of the bolster close to your right hip. Lower all the way down to the bolster, resting your right cheek on the bolster. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Keep the breath going. Last few breaths. And we'll slowly come out of your pose. Use your hands and your arms to help you come up. Unwind from your twist. Take a few breaths. And come back to the center. We'll prepare for cat pulling its tail. Several variations here for this pose. Start by lying down on your mat. Turn your body towards the left side and rest on your left elbow, left forearm, stacking the feet, the legs, the hips. Bend that top leg, your right knee. You can stay there, or you might straighten that right leg out. Bend the bottom knee, your left knee, and reach your right hand towards that left foot or ankle. Bring your heel closer to your hips. Pause and observe how you feel in this pose. Notice your neck. You can gaze in any direction that feels good for your neck, so you might explore that for a few moments. You can choose to stay in this variation, or if it feels good, you can explore other versions of this pose. Try sliding your left arm out, coming all the way down to the floor, resting your head on your left arm. If the first version feels better, feel free to come back to that. Whichever one you choose, soften your face, stay mindful of the breath and the sensations in the body. We'll be here a few more minutes. Last breath or two here in your cat pulling its tail. We'll come out of this step by step. You'll gently release that bottom foot. Straighten that left leg. Bend the top leg. Come back to the center. Rest on your back. Take a few breaths. And we'll prepare for the other side. So turn your body to face the right side of your mat. Start by stacking feet, legs, hips, resting on that right elbow. Straighten the top leg as much as you can. Bend your bottom leg. Grab your ankle or your foot with the left hand. Notice how you feel in the pose. Gaze in any direction that's okay for your neck. Stay in this version, or you might slide that right arm out, bringing your body all the way down to your mat. Rest your head on your right arm. Make a few tweaks, a few adjustments if you need to, approaching your edge in the pose. Feel that stretch in the front of your left thigh, the inner thighs for both sides, the top leg, that outer hip, outer thigh, and other sensations that might be coming up. Keep your focus on your breath to stay present. We'll be here a few more minutes. Last few breaths here and cat pulling its tail. And step by step we'll release. Let go of the bottom foot. Bend your top leg. Roll back to the center. Rest on your back. And take a full body stretch for Bananasana. Reach your arms up overhead, stretch your legs, point your toes. Then move the feet and the arms towards the right side of your mat. Feel that side stretch on the left side of your body. Stay here or maybe cross at your ankles, either left foot over right foot or right foot over left foot, whichever one feels better. If you need more intensity, move the feet and the hands towards the right side more, but make sure to keep your hips and your shoulders on the mat. Few more minutes here. Last few seconds on this side stretch. If your ankles are crossed, uncross them. Make your way back to the center and prepare for your other side. Walk the feet and the hands towards the left side, keeping the hips and the shoulders touching the ground. Stay here or cross at the ankles either way. And feel the lengthening in the right side of the body. Enjoy that stretch. We'll stay in this half moon shape for a few more minutes. Keep your breath going. Last few seconds on this side. If your ankles are crossed, uncross them. Make your way back to the center. Relax your efforts for a few moments. Breathe and observe how you feel. Full body stretch again. Reach your arms up overhead, point your toes. Big cleansing breath. And slowly release. Hug your knees into the chest. Stay here or add any movements. Maybe rock side to side or do circles with the hips. If you're moving, pause, hug both knees into the chest again, and prepare for happy baby. Bring your knees wide, lift the feet, stacking your ankles over your knees. Gently press your hips down towards the mat. Your hands can be on your thighs, your legs, or your feet. Notice how the lower body feels here. Soften the face if this is a little intense for you. Keep the breath smooth and even. We'll remain here a few more minutes. Last few breaths in your happy baby. And in the next few seconds, ever so carefully release. Do any movements that you need to do here. And prepare for final relaxation pose, Savasana. If you like to use a bolster here, you can slide that under your knees. Let the feet relax, arms by your sides with the palms facing up. Close your eyes and take a big cleansing breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through the mouth, big sigh. Letting go of any lingering tension or stress. This is the most important part of our practice, Shavasana, corpse pose. There's nothing else we need to do here. This is a time to let go of effort, Relinquish control. Surrender to the pose. Soften your face completely. Allow your body to be heavy on the mat. Know that everything you've done in your practice is enough, and now it's time to rest. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Start deepening the breath a little bit more. In the next few seconds, introduce some movement into the body. Wiggle your toes, your fingers, move the head side to side, and give yourself a nice long stretch. Anytime you can bend your knees, roll to one side, and pause a few moments here, still keeping the eyes closed. And whenever you feel ready, press away from the floor and come up to any seated pose. Sit here simply enjoying the breath and staying present. Let's close our practice with some cleansing breaths, just like we did in the beginning. Inhale through your nose, exhale through the mouth. Do 2 more. After that last breath, bring your palms together in front of the heart, bow the head down. Be grateful for this time you had today to nurture your body, your mind, and your spirit. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.